の中で影の声が囁くんだ。秘密の街角に眠る古い伝説さ。明かされぬ砂塵の謎が呼び覚まされ、闇に消える証拠が夜を包む。探せ消えた真実を闇の奥で見つけ行方不明の答え、星の涙で洗い流して洗い流して闇の中で最終幕が待っている。踊れて名付く。
It was a bright and sunny day outside, but inside the Megami household, an oppressive coldness filled the air. Mizu Megami sat with her daughter Katera in the dim-lit living room. They were speaking with the private investigator, Sora. The topic at hand was a mystery that neither Mizu nor Katera fully understood, but it had begun to haunt them in ways they never expected.
Tell me, Katera. Tell me about Shiki, his sword collection. What was he like?
Sora said, her tone calm yet probing. Katera shifted uncomfortably, her hands fidgeting with the edge of her sleeve.
Shiki, he was obsessed with swords. He wasn't just a collector, though. He practiced kenjutsu, honed his skills every day. He was always fascinated by the history of the weapons he collected.
But there was one sword he may have liked more than others, wasn't there? The Ghost Edge?
Katera's eyes widened, her memory flitting back to the day Shiki had received that sword.
Yes, the Ghost Edge. It had green handles and a gold blade protector. He said he got it from a woman. He couldn't get a good look at her. She was wearing a hood. She told him that the sword was his fate, that it was meant for him. He accepted it without hesitation.
Mizu, who had been listening silently, shifted in her chair.
I wasn't there when it happened, but Katera informed me. I was afraid of what it could mean. But Shiki, he was too enamored with swords, with their power, their history. He didn't care about the warnings. He thought it was just another blade to add to his collection.
Where did he keep the swords? Was the Ghost Edge among them?
Katera nodded, her expression still clouded with grief.
He kept them in a special room. My mom, Mizu, created it for him, a place where he could store them safely, away from harm.
Mizu sighed, rubbing her temples.
It was the safest place for that sword. The Ghost Edge isn't a normal sword. It has a dark history, one tied to the Yuma family. It's called the Sword of 100 Souls. Some of the spirits trapped within it are vengeful, and the last ghost to possess it was Sasumu, the red ghost, Shiki's mother.
Katera's eyes flicked to her mother.
Wait, Mother, you knew Shiki's mother? I heard stories about the red ghost. That's Shiki's mom?
Yes, I knew her. Sasumu became a vengeful spirit after she was killed, and her power nearly consumed Shiki's father Shinjo. He was a sorcerer. He had the strength to break the spirit's hold on her. But the sword, it still carries her curse. I knew the danger, but I didn't know what to tell him. Now I fear a spirit has a hold of him.
But Shiki's dead. How can he be alive again? How is any of this possible?
Shiki's body. It's gone. No one knows where it went. We're dealing with a vengeful spirit, Katera, and I need you. Just like Sasumu had Shinju, I believe you're the key to bringing Shiki back, to freeing him from the ghost's control. You don't have magic like him, but your bond was more powerful than a spell.
Katera's heart pounded in her chest as Sora's words echoed in her mind. Could she really help bring Shiki back? Was this the fate that awaited her too?
I need to investigate further. Tonight I'm going to check Shiki's apartment for any clues. You two stay near, okay? We can do this together.
The night had fallen by the time Sora arrived at Shiki's apartment, her steps swift and deliberate as she approached the door. She unlocked it with a practiced hand and stepped inside, her eyes immediately scanning the room for any signs of disturbance. The apartment had been ransacked. Books, papers, and shattered glass littered the floor. Someone had been here. Sora's instincts kicked in. She could sense the lingering presence of someone nearby. Moving swiftly, she drew her gun and called out into the darkness.
I know you're here. Show yourself.
A low chuckle echoed from the shadows, and then, in the blink of an eye, a figure emerged from the darkness. Midas.
I was wondering when you'd show up. I can't find the stupid sword, but killing you is the next best thing.
So, you're the one who killed Shiki. Judging from your eye color, I'm guessing you're a Kitsune. I'm not surprised. Drop to the floor, now.
I'm gonna enjoy cutting you up with my bare claws, Wolf. You've met your match.
But Midas wasn't about to comply. In an instant, his speed was overwhelming. With a flick of his wrist, he seized Sora's arm, twisting it violently. The two struggled over the weapon, but Midas's strength was a match for her own. With a swift movement, Midas slashes his claws across Sora's side, a glowing red streak marking her skin. But to his astonishment, she doesn't falter. No sign of pain crosses her face, only a primal rage surges in her chest. Her eyes narrow, her wolf instincts now fully awakened. Her body quivers with fury, and she lets out a guttural growl, baring her fangs. Sora's wolf instincts surged. She threw Midas back with a powerful shove, sending him crashing through the apartment wall. She immediately aimed her gun at him, ready for whatever came next. Midas was fast, though, and before she could pull the trigger, he was already drawing his own weapon. The two exchanged fire, bullets zipping through the air, narrowly missing each other. They were at a standstill, each waiting for the other to make a move. Sora's eyes narrowed.
Who do you work for, Seth?
Ha! We all work for Seth. But Seth is just one piece of the puzzle. He's going to end your reign over this city, Sora. You're not the only myth with power.
Sora's heart skipped a beat. Before she could press further, Midas was suddenly thrown backward, crashing into the wall again. Sora's senses flared, but she couldn't sense anyone else in the apartment. The air seemed thick with a palpable energy. Midas scrambled to his feet, a look of panic in his eyes as he tried to fight back against an invisible force. Then, with a sickening sound, Midas was impaled by a sword. Sora froze, her blood running cold. The sword was unmistakable, the ghost edge. A ghostly figure materialized in the shadows, the air growing colder by the second. The figure stepped forward, revealing himself, Shiki Yuma. His red eyes gleamed with malevolent energy as he pulled the blade from Midas's body, watching with cold indifference as the Kitsune's life drained away. Midas, barely able to move, looked toward Sora with desperate eyes, but it was too late. He exhaled his last breath, and the room fell eerily silent. Shiki turned his gaze toward Sora, his eyes locked onto hers. His chilling blank stare clouded the room. Fear surged through Sora's veins. She had never encountered anything like this. Shiki, or whatever he had become, was no longer the man she heard of, and now she was the next target.
The shadow of the moonlight, the howl that pierced pierces night, the spirit of a legend, boundless in its fight. I am the voice of thunder that echoes in the void. When silence turns to fury, my wrath is unalloyed. You can't break me, hear me howl. In the darkness, on the prowl. No wolf unleashed, no fear, no doubt. In the twilight, I scream out. Irrevocable, my spirit, roaming through the snow, with eyes that pierce the silence, in shadows I bestow.